It's arguably the greatest disguise artist on the planet. The master of disguise can change its appearance in a flash, blending seamlessly into coral reef, sandy bottom, or even a nearby anemone. It also has eyes that pop with hypnotic iridescence. And to top it all off, this creature is smarter than you think. In fact, some scientists say that the cuttlefish is the most intelligent invertebrate on Earth. Most importantly, how does this creature perfect the art of camouflage? Well, let's dive into the skin of the matter. The cuttlefish is an expert at altering its own skin color and texture almost instantly. And there are some fascinating facts about how it accomplishes this feat. Firstly, the animal's skin is actually made up of several layers of cells, each responsible for a different aspect of its appearance. The outermost layer is called the epidermis, which is actually transparent. Beneath that we have 3 layers of pigment cells known as chromatophores, leucophores, and iridophores. Each of these layers plays a role in creating the cuttlefish's camouflage effect. Let's start with chromatophores. These cells contain pigment granules, which are sacs full of colored compounds called melanin, guanine, purines, or red, yellow, or green pigments. Chromatophores are basically tiny sacs floating in a thin layer of water just below the surface of the skin. This water layer is separated from the epidermis by a membrane called the basal lamina. And this is very important because when the cuttlefish wants to change color, it expands or contracts the chromatophore cells, pushing or pulling the sac of pigment either closer to or further away from the outer surface of the skin. When the sacs are close to the surface, they reflect less light and the colors become more apparent. But when they move deeper down, they begin to blend with the transparency of the epidermis above them, making them invisible to anyone looking from above. There are typically around 200 to 400 chromatophore cells per square millimeter of skin, and their arrangement varies depending on the species of cuttlefish. Some have individual cells spread evenly across their bodies, while others have them grouped together in patches. The distribution of these cells affects how quickly the cuttlefish can change color, with larger patches allowing for faster changes. Each cell operates independently of the others thanks to the sac-like structure, but they also communicate with one another via their nerve connections. If a group of cells sends a signal to its neighbors, all of them will expand or contract at the same time, creating a coordinated color change. Scientists believe that this type of communication allows the cuttlefish to create smooth gradients of color, which are useful for both camouflage and communication. But chromatophores aren't the only cells contributing to the cuttlefish's color-changing abilities. Leucophores contain guanine, which scatters the light that passes through them, making the skin appear white. By controlling how much light is reflected, the guanine adjusts the brightness of the cuttlefish's overall coloration. Like chromatophores, leucophores are located just below the epidermis, but they're found in a layer separate from the chromatophores. Iridophores are also situated in their own layer below the leucophores, and they contain stacks of guanine crystals arranged in a regular pattern. Thanks to this structure, the iridophores can act like a mirror, reflecting certain wavelengths of visible light and giving the skin a metallic, iridescent appearance. Just like the other cells, iridophores can alter the spacing between guanine crystals, changing the wavelength of light that gets reflected and thus changing the color we see. In addition to these 3 primary layers, cuttlefish also have specialized cells that produce mucus. Mucus cells sit deep within the dermis layer of the skin and secrete sticky substances that help anchor the other pigment cells in place. They also contribute to the cuttlefish's ability to change texture by regulating the amount of mucus on the surface of the skin. More mucus results in a rougher texture, while less mucus makes the skin feel smoother. So now that we know about the various structures involved in coloring the cuttlefish, how do they work together to create such quick and precise changes? To answer that question, researchers are studying live specimens in tanks as well as preserved samples under the microscope. One study conducted at the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology examined how cuttlefish skin changes color and texture during normal activity. The team used high-speed video cameras to record how long it took for color changes to occur, and whether they happened uniformly across the body or in patches. What they found was that different parts of the cuttlefish could change color at different rates, suggesting that speed might be an important factor in determining when and where color changes take place. Another study at the Marine Biological Laboratory is investigating the neural control of color change by recording electrical signals from single cells in the cuttlefish brain and measuring how fast those signals travel along different pathways. By identifying the neurons involved in controlling skin color, researchers hope to learn more about the coordination between the central brain and peripheral nerves. Studies like these are shedding light on the complex interplay between the nervous system and the skin. Scientists are also gaining insight into the function of the cuttlefish's remarkable light-reflecting cells, or iridophores. Iridophores can alter the spacing between guanine crystals, changing the wavelength of light that gets reflected. Until recently, it was thought that the iridophores were solely responsible for the iridescent colors seen in cuttlefish skin. However, new research suggests that the guanine crystals may play a role in the cuttlefish's ability to regulate its own temperature. A study published in the journal PNAS showed that by adjusting the distance between guanine crystals, the cuttlefish can alter the amount of heat absorbed from its environment. This finding suggests that iridophores may serve as a type of thermostat, helping the cuttlefish maintain optimal body temperature. Further research is needed to understand how this process works and its significance for the cuttlefish's overall physiology. And if you thought that was interesting, wait until you hear about the cuttlefish's uncanny ability to mimic other animals. In recent years, researchers have uncovered the secrets behind this bizarre behavior, revealing a complex interplay of nerves, muscles, and pigment cells. The study of mimicry in cuttlefish is not only fascinating in its own right, but also has practical applications for fields like robotics and artificial intelligence. The cuttlefish's ability to rapidly change its skin color and texture by controlling the movement of pigment cells, coupled with its ability to learn and retain information about its environment, makes it a unique and valuable subject for scientific study. By understanding the mechanisms behind mimicry in cuttlefish, researchers are developing new techniques for creating robots that can better interact with their environment. They're also gaining insight into the evolution of intelligence in invertebrates, challenging the long-held belief that complex cognitive abilities are exclusive to vertebrates. As scientists continue to explore the depths of the ocean, they're sure to uncover even more amazing adaptations and behaviors in the cuttlefish and other cephalopods. Who knows what other secrets these creatures are hiding? Perhaps they possess even greater camouflage tricks or intelligence that we haven't even begun to imagine. The future of cephalopod research is full of promise, and we can expect many more surprises from these fascinating creatures. One of the reasons why the cuttlefish is so difficult to study is that it is a rather elusive creature. Most species prefer to live in the depths of the ocean where light is scarce, making them hard to observe. Additionally, they're solitary animals, which means they don't congregate in large groups that would make them easier to track and study. This elusiveness has contributed to the cuttlefish's reputation as a master of disguise. After all, if they're difficult for us to spot, then they must be doing something right. But despite these challenges, scientists have managed to piece together the cuttlefish's life cycle through a combination of observation and experimentation. We now know that cuttlefish lay eggs that hatch into miniature versions of the adults. These babies then drift along ocean currents until they reach a suitable habitat where they can settle down and grow. Like their adult counterparts, young cuttlefish are equipped with a set of remarkable camouflage abilities that allow them to blend seamlessly into their surroundings. As they grow, they continue to hone these skills, becoming more adept at changing color and texture to match their environment. While we may never fully understand the complexity of the cuttlefish's behavior, we can appreciate the beauty and wonder of its existence. From its otherworldly appearance to its advanced camouflage abilities, the cuttlefish is truly a creature like no other. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the ocean, we can be sure that many more amazing discoveries await us. So keep your eyes open and your mind curious. You never know what wonders you might find just below the surface. You already know how smart the cuttlefish is, but did you know that humans have been putting them in danger? We fish them out of the ocean to eat them. And while it doesn't happen as often as with other fish, the cuttlefish population is still suffering. That is why it is important to share this video with people, so they know how awesome these animals are, and that we need to protect them. Also, there's one more reason we should care about the cuttlefish. They can teach us how to make computers and robots smarter. Researchers are using AI to study how the cuttlefish changes color. They want to create machines that can do it too. So if you love cuttlefish and want more of them to stick around, please share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching. See you next time.